everybody. It is time for Hot Takes with Kari and Keelan. This is episode number 19. I am Kari Rae Davis with Kari Sells the City and Keller Williams.
And I'm Keelan Harvey with the Harvey Home Team.
So I want to make sure that everybody knows that Keelan and I are doing a home buyer class this coming Tuesday. It is the 30th of April at 6:30 p.m. and it's going to go probably till about 8 o'clock, and it's via Zoom. So just want to make sure I let everybody know that at the beginning of our video today, just in case they're interested in learning about how to buy a home from Keelan and I. We're going to walk through what it takes to get started, go over some key terms and some key players that are in your transaction, and just walk you through the process to help get you started and help get you comfortable. And if you want to talk further after that, you are welcome to book a call individually with Keelan and I to find out what it would take for you personally to get started. So.
And don't forget, we're going to be providing some really useful tips. It's going to be service oriented, so we want to really provide value, even in that, not only just the whole process, but tips on credit, things that you can immediately take away that can improve your situation as well.
Right. So even if it's not time to buy right now, you're going to walk away with some tools to help you get started. So when you are ready, you know which direction to go in. So come join us this next Tuesday at 6:30 via Zoom. So Keelan, let's talk about what's happening in the market right now. I know rates have been they've been hovering around the 7.5% mark, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be coming down with any Fed cuts anytime in the next month or so. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, futures, we're looking at our futures here. It's looking like, maybe July cut. It's kind of interesting. We had a tough week the other week. We lost 88 basis points due to a CPI report, inflation report.
And that's almost a full percent, right?
Yeah, almost a full percent, 88 basis points, almost 1%. And then we had another tough day too, shortly after. And they just, since then, about mid-April, they've just been kind of hovering in this little area here. So who knows? I mean, what the next thing's going to be as far as rates improving at this point. But the reality is, I think we've all digested where rates are at. And, the market is actually picking up, and spring is being spring. Regardless, in the face of these higher rates, I think a lot of consumers have just decided, hey, we got to make some moves, and rates are going to be what they're going to be. And I mean, historically, these are nowhere near the highest rates we've ever had. So, but we're still very, very optimistic. In July comes around, and especially in time for the elections, I think they're going to have to make some moves at the end of the day. And may that be July, may that be August. The cutting rates is still on the table.
Right. Well, and I think it'll be so interesting to see how this affects us, because the almost 10 years that I've been in real estate, we've been able to kind of see trends throughout the seasons and see what happens. And I have to say, last year was an anomaly for all of us in real estate, because everything just hit the brakes with rates, going up the way that they did. And I think it's interesting, like we're seeing trends, like you said, springtime is heating up. The vendors I'm working with, the photographers, escrow, stagers, they're all pretty busy right now, which indicates to me that there will be more inventory hopefully coming on the market soon, which is going to be great for the buyers out there. But I'm curious if they do lower the rates, midsummer. Usually August is kind of a quiet time in our market for real estate, because everybody goes on vacation. It's like nobody's in town. But I'm curious to see what will happen, that if they do a rate cut, if that might, spark more activity than we normally have.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people on the fence, right, that are just kind of really tentatively waiting for these rates to come down, no matter what we tell them, because they're going to end up paying more. They're still sitting on the sidelines. They're going to do what they're going to do. And I'm curious, too, because, there's a lot of people sitting and wait. And, I think it could make it a weird market. It might be different than it normally is.
Right. So, well, we've all got to kind of buckle in. That's what we've had to do lately. So.
Well, and then speaking of that, we got pending home sales for March. So right in tune is what you're talking about. March rose 3.4%. February is 1.4%. So with this increase, and what pending home sales measures signed contracts, by the way. I should digress. So yeah, signed contracts on existing homes. So that's intern activity, right?
Right,
so
and that will turn into sold homes.
Exactly. And then the NAR forecasts that housing starts going to rise at the end of this year. and then even much more into 2025, which is crazy to already talk about 2025, right?
I
Like
mean,
what
May
happened?
is in a couple of days. It's kind of nuts.
It's
Yeah.
kind of nuts, right? But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, yeah, I mean, they're talking about, and more inventory is what we need.
Right.
And as rates go down, we know the demand is there. So I mean,
Well, and we know that when
we
rates go
have changed that
down,
to
I'm
what's
sorry.
that?
I was going to say when rates do go down, we know that everybody that's been on the sidelines are going to dive in. So it's going to make it even more of a frenzy, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna, we have a huge group of step up buyers that are just waiting for, I think, just a little relief in rates where they want to list their home,
Right.
so that'll release some inventory too. So, I mean, the recipe hasn't changed. I still think it's going to be a crazy couple of years in real estate. There's still huge demand, very little supply. It's just prolonged longer than we thought. The Fed, the inflation's being persistent.
Right.
The jobs reports are coming out. Granted, I mean, I'm not a big fan. There's some skewed data amongst
Right.
it, but at the end of the day, the headline's the headline, and it's perpetuating these rates to be where they're at. And but it's got to turn the corner, especially as we get closer to elections. So, like I said, recipe hasn't changed. Hold on, buckle up. It's going to be a crazy market.
Well, and I'm just grateful that, I've got the people that I'm working with that are holding steady. So I know I've been really busy. My phone has been ringing. I've got some people talking about listing their properties in the next couple of months, next couple of weeks. So I feel like everybody's just kind of, waiting for this break, to be able to make moves.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
mean, it's destined to happen. It's just the timing is interesting. So,
Right.
buckle up. It's going to go down. But again, the story hasn't changed. If you were looking to buy a house, from the bottom of my heart, caring about other humans and making the best in this real estate craziness, if you can afford to get into a house, I'd at least go look into it and see what's going on, because I assure you, you will pay more.
Well, and home prices are still rising. Home prices are appreciating still. I mean, we've been, looking at data, in our area, and we are averaging about 6 to 7% right now, which is, I think, pretty good for the year. I know I'm excited to see, my home's value grow. And so I just want to caution people if they think that prices are going to come down. I don't think that's going to happen in our market. It might in other parts of the United States, but I think things might slow a little bit like they have in the past, but I do think that our values hold here in the Northwest, and we've got such a great, desirable area to live in, and we've got good jobs here that I think that if you can get your foot in the door, like Keelan and I have said repeatedly, if you can get your foot in the door and get your name on the asset and start accruing, wealth and get some home value going, you're going to be in a better place later. I think the longer you wait, like you said before, Keelan, the more you will end up paying.
It's interesting, the people that are still kind of on the fence versus rent versus buy.
Mhm.
Home's an investment. There's nothing different. Yeah, and I've seen some stuff on the news come out lately about this, like it's cheaper to rent.
Right. I've seen it
Yeah,
too.
at face value, if you have a mortgage, it's going to be more expensive than your rent, but you're putting nothing towards your future. It's no different than you putting money away into your 401k or your stocks. It's about your future self will thank you for
Right.
going and investing into this. The difference that the media misses is appreciation. They miss the amortization that you pay down on your loan, the tax advantages. At the end of renting, you have nothing. So
Right.
it's like a forced savings plan that puts
You've
you in a
lost money. You're
you
throwing money away.
yeah, you're just bleeding. And I always love to say, what's the interest rate on rent? And
100%.
100%, right?
Yeah.
So do yourself a favor, stop the bleeding, get yourself into the market. And like I said, the sooner the better. We're in this little bubbling point right before it boils, right? We're in this little
Right.
bubbling point, and we know it's going to boil over at some point here soon in a good way.
Right.
And there's going to be those that bought homes, and then those are on the other side of it that are going to pay for higher, pay more,
Right.
as opposed to getting that appreciation themselves.
Well, and I've got a lot of clients that are coming to me that are past clients. And so I keep a file of everybody, and I'll keep the tours. I'm kind of a geek like that. And so I've got all of the tours that we did, let's say, 4 years ago, and looking at what home prices were back then compared to what they are now. And even, with buyers I'm looking for and I'm sending them listings. seeing houses that are in, Ballard at like 1.1, where, maybe 6 years ago they might have been like 600,000 or 700,000. I mean, you just cannot deny that over time, you've got such a great, ability to make money and invest in your wealth if you are able to buy real estate. So,
Well, mark my words. Mark my words. This is going to be that time. You remember like 2020 when everybody bought homes before then? They're like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have bought a home because
right,
that time is right now. And there's going to be people in the next couple of years that look back and be like, man, I should have bought then, you know? And I really truly feel based on every expert, people much smarter than me, the market, everything, it's that time again. And
right.
it's daunting right now because rates are higher, but I'm telling you, it's that time.
Well, and when you're able to refinance, like I'm going through that with my home, like I'm excited to do some upgrades. So then that way, when I do refinance, my home is going to be even worth more than what I paid for it. And then to get
Yeah,
that appreciation on top of it, like I'm excited about my future. And I'm so grateful that I was able to make the move for myself in order to put myself in a position to be able to have a really wonderful place to live and then also maybe get a better home in the next 5 years or so. I mean, it's just a matter of a stepping stone. So
yeah, we know rates are still going to go down the next couple of years.
right.
You know, so we're all excited about that. The goal now is to ride the train to the bottom. Don't get
Hold
caught up.
tight.
Yeah, people don't get caught up. Everybody, word of advice. There's a lot of funny math in the lending world. Don't get caught up with the funny math, saving $100 a month. I've had calls from my customers, and once you do the math on it, it makes absolutely no sense. But there's a way that they can speak to you and do some funny math where it makes sense to refinance when it really totally doesn't. You know, it
Right.
costs money to refinance. So you have to look at how much money you're saving and then divide it by the cost to refinance to get yourself a break even point.
Right.
And that's really the tried and true mathematical way to do it that a lot of people skip because they're more interested in lining their pockets than your best interest. So I have to tell all my customers, and I manage all of my customers' debt. That I look at myself as a manager of debt before being a financial advisor. Now I'm the same thing, but for mortgages and making sure they're in the best position. Be patient. Be patient. We're going to ride it to the bottom. Ideally, you might not hit the very bottom, but get as close as we can, refinance one time, and then ride off to the sunset and never touch it again.
Right. Right.
So,
Well, if anybody out there is curious, call us. We are here for you. It's, I don't want to be a broken record, but Keelan and I really want to be a resource for you. So, if you want to join our Zoom call that's going to be on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m., I will go ahead and include a link to the class in the description of the video, just in case that's easier. It makes me a little nervous because I have no idea how many people are going to attend. We don't have any sort of way to measure that. But we're going to be going through the home buying process and like Keelan was saying, information about, wealth and appreciation and, why is it a good time for you? If it is a good time for you, talk about what it would look like. So, join us for that class. But outside of that, if you just want to talk or you've got questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach me at 206-330-6985.
or give me at 206-321-4941.
Awesome. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep it kind of short today because there's not a whole lot to talk about other than the fact that rates are still kind of where they're at. And we hope to have some more information for you again next week.
Bye, everybody.